I was taken aback by the small amount my family mentioned, thinking it was some kind of joke. Just the other day, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing with calls from my parents. When I finally picked up, they began yelling before I could utter a word. Initially, I couldn't comprehend what my father was saying, leaving me utterly bewildered. It wasn't until later that I realized they were upset over the money I was supposedly sending to my sister, Meera. According to them, Meera managed to send $112,000 each month, while they believed I only gave a measly 880 CS. But that wasn't the truth. I had been contributing $112,000 monthly, just as Meera was. They accused me of lying, convinced that Meera, with her successful modeling career, was more generous. Meera sends $112,000 each month, my father exclaimed, clearly disappointed. My mother chimed in too, criticizing how I lived. Do you think it's okay to live alone, squandering your money? Why can't you be more considerate like Meera? She sighed heavily. I had always sensed their favoritism for Meera. She was stunning, attracting attention wherever she went, while I often felt invisible. People would often compare us, praising her beauty and joking about how plain I looked beside her. From early on, it was evident that Meera was destined for success in modeling or acting. My parents doted on her, ensuring she always had the trendiest clothes and attended any class she desired. In contrast, I was left with hand-me-downs and no extracurricular activities. Meera grew up spoiled and entitled, believing that what was mine was also hers. She would take my belongings without asking, and when I protested, my parents would dismiss my feelings, telling me to let it go. Amanda, you should be a good older sister. She's younger, they'd say. The preferential treatment only worsened over the years. In elementary school, when Meera wanted her own room, my parents didn't hesitate to move me to the living room, justifying it by saying I had few possessions and there was ample space. Surrounded by old family portraits, the living room became my new bedroom, making me feel overlooked and undervalued. Eventually, I made the decision to stop sending money home, hoping to make a point. I'm Amanda, 31 years old, working at a food processing company, constantly feeling like the less favored child. With my stunning sister, Meera, 6 years my junior, basking in the limelight and affection I never received from our parents, I persevered despite the cold treatment and harsh comparisons. I held on to the cherished memories of my grandparents who adored me. Growing up, my grandfather, who named me Amanda during the vibrant spring season, treasured these flowers for their resilience. As a child, I loved sitting on his lap, feeling his warmth as he said, Amanda, no matter how tough things get, you can always push through. After hardships, happiness will bloom again like a Mandice in spring. His words often comforted me, especially during difficult times. As I grew older, it became clear that my parents treated Meera and me very differently. I never truly felt at home. When I expressed my dream of becoming a school nurse and mentioned university entrance exams, my parents immediately dismissed the idea, saying, "We can't afford university." Our family was financially average, hardly struggling, yet my parents insisted on prioritizing Meera's dreams over mine, thinking about her future. Despite this, after high school, while Meera attended a prestigious university, I started working at a company not far from home. Eventually, I rented a small studio near work, relieved to escape the constant comparisons at home. Meera thrived at university and got scouted by a talent agency during a shopping trip. My parents were thrilled, often boasting about her modeling career. One day, Meera called, brimming with gratitude, suggesting we give our parents $12,000 monthly to express our gratitude. The amount left me shocked. Despite modeling's lucrative pay, I only earned about $66,000 a month. Agreeing meant drastically cutting expenses or finding extra income. Reluctantly, I took a weekend security job at a construction site. It paid well, but was hard work. Scorching summers and freezing winters made it tough, but I persevered, driven by family loyalty and the need to match my sister. My grandfather's words of future happiness kept me hopeful amidst balancing a demanding job and certification studies, with little sleep. My coworkers' unexpected kindness, offering drinks and food, was a warm gesture as they noticed my efforts. I curbed dining out and unnecessary spending to reach the $122,000 promised monthly. Determined to boost income, I aimed for a professional certification, spending every free moment studying, as work and study blurred together. In this whirlwind, I missed several calls from my parents, and, upon calling back, faced immediate anger. "You're horrible," my father yelled, with my mother echoing his sentiments. Confused, I mentioned the money I sent but couldn't grasp their anger. My father accused me of mocking them by sending just $80,000, while Meera sent $112,000, expressing disappointment and comparing me unfavorably. My mother's criticism of my lifestyle added to the sadness overwhelming me into silence. Then it hit me, a massive misunderstanding. Earlier, to keep our contributions anonymous, Meera had suggested doing so under the pseudonym Rainbow. I didn't realize her stage name was Rain, and hence, a mix-up in transactions occurred. Before I had the chance to clear up the misunderstanding, a shocking error had occurred. Amanda was mistakenly listed as the provider of 80 cents, while Meera was credited with the $122,000 donation. Disappointed and feeling mocked, my parents abruptly ended the call, leaving me feeling betrayed by Meera, who hadn't clarified our agreement. This mix-up left me restless and troubled, as I debated whether to continue my financial support. Seeking guidance, I turned to Scarlett, a high school friend who now excelled at a consulting firm. Renowned for her dependability and straightforward advice, Scarlett agreed to lunch despite the short notice and was taken aback when she noticed my stressed demeanor. As I recounted the confusing situation involving family and money, Scarlett listened intently. "Aren't your parents financially stable, given they're in their late 80s? She asked. The $112,000 sum bewildered her, prompting her to suggest my parents might be mismanaging funds. Scarlett's fresh perspective highlighted the enormity of the situation, a commitment to providing $122,000 monthly? Given our modest backgrounds, it seemed unjustifiable and unnecessary. Scarlett reminded me of the sacrifices I had made and cautioned against family pressure. "Amanda, you're generous, but it's time to stand firm," she advised. Her insights resonated with me, and I vowed not to be overwhelmed by familial expectations. 3 months on, an unending series of calls from a fuming Meera broke my morning peace. "Why have you ignored my calls and stopped the funds?" she demanded. Her urgent tone heightened my own financial anxieties and life stresses. But with Scarlett's assistance, I discerned that Meera's financial gestures were more about appearances than necessity, supporting excessive habits rather than genuine needs. Gathering insights discreetly, Scarlett revealed Meera's frivolous spending and reliance on my contributions for her lavish lifestyle. She often mentioned her financial dependence on me, even contemplating cutting back on luxury due to my halted support. Additionally, I learned about my parents' indulgence in luxury and my father's gambling, all facilitated by my financial contributions. Confronting my family, I questioned the need for my funds when Dad was reportedly working. This led to a crucial moment when my parents finally spoke with Meera. Through tears, she confessed that her claims were exaggerated. Her modeling career wasn't as lucrative as she pretended, and she was a burden on her agency. Despite her charming looks, a lack of talent in singing or dancing hindered her career progress. In the realm of entertainment, Meera found her modeling opportunities to be infrequent and poorly compensated, typically involving modest online catalogs. This reality prompted a significant shift in my parents' expectations. They sternly assured me not to be overly concerned and to continue financial support without interruption, unapologetically demanding the 3 months of payments I had paused. Their boldness was astonishing. They even stated, "We've accounted for 3 months, so please transfer the funds when you can. You always have been dependable." Their persistent avarice led me to probe deeper into their financial situation, something that had been a lingering concern for me. According to Meera, there was some debt. Was that accurate? I sought clarity regarding our family's fiscal matters. They dismissed the debt allegations outright, claiming that my grandparents' inheritance had covered tuition costs. This dialogue unearthed vast inconsistencies between what I had been led to believe and the actual moral and financial dimensions of my family. It was apparent that my decisions going forward needed to reflect not just family duty, but also an honest evaluation of true necessity and the legitimacy of monetary requests. Confidently, my father denied the debt accusations Meera had mentioned. They needed just a little extra for shopping, my mother casually mentioned, as they believed my father's salary sufficed. Clearly, they were financially stable without needing my contributions. Why doesn't Amir secure full-time employment then? I questioned, my frustration mounting. My father's retort was sharp. Is that how you address your parents? I didn't raise a daughter to behave this way, with my mother echoing his sentiment. We don't need a daughter like you if you're going to act this way. They threatened to resort to using my grandfather's savings allocated to me, saying, "We'll just utilize your grandfather's savings for you, as you're no longer part of this family." This willingness to sever familial bonds left me profoundly shocked and hurt. Post their departure, I broke down, feeling completely disposable and questioning my value within my family. 3 months passed in silence before an unexpected visit from my parents and Meera. Startled by their worn-out appearances, so different from my own significantly improved state, I hesitated but eventually let them in. Since our last encounter, I was thriving, having earned a small business consultant certification that had enhanced my salary. With Scarlett's help, I secured a new position as a team leader, bringing fulfillment to my work life, and I was contemplating moving to a better apartment closer to my job. Surprised by my improved appearance and attire, they almost accusatorily inquired, "What's with the luxury?" Before any enjoyment of my improved circumstances, they insisted on financial aid. Undeterred by their audacious entitlement, I confronted them about my father and Amir's steady income. Their financial comfort was evident, so I queried, "What's the real issue?" This prompted tears from Meera, who admitted her ongoing modeling struggles, far more severe than she had previously disclosed. She had been approached by a different agency, convinced to invest heavily to transition into acting. Tragically, it was a scam, and the agency vanished, taking their investment with no trace. At that moment, a representative from a consumer finance company approached, inquiring if I was related to them, as if my family had borrowed a large sum of money, hopeful that Meera's career would soon improve, but they ended up in deeper financial trouble due to Meera's extravagant nightclub expenses. Shocked by their recklessness, I was approached by a finance agent about my association with them. I firmly denied knowing them, stating, "I have nothing to do with these people." This harsh but necessary response marked an emotional and legal separation from my family's detrimental patterns. Following these chaotic events, my parents faced bankruptcy, losing our family home and downsizing to a modest apartment. Yet, they found employment through a temp agency, making ends meet. Ironically, my father found work at the construction site where I used to work part-time. He was greeted on his first day with comments about the young lady who worked hard to support her parents, remarks that hardened his expression. Meanwhile, Meera, having given up on her modeling career, attempted to establish herself in the nightlife industry but was quickly dismissed due to her self-centered behavior. She barely scraped by working at a small bar, and her lifestyle visibly aged her. Regular patrons mocked her as distant memories of her modeling days faded. As for me, I severed ties with my family and focused on my own life. 6 years later, I attended Scarlett's wedding at a scenic chapel in Tampa, USA, overlooking the vast blue sea. The ceremony was filled with a sense of new beginnings. Standing proudly beside Scarlett was her husband. During the ceremony, Scarlett confided in me with a radiant smile, "Amanda, you should also face your feelings." Her husband jested, "Don't throw me away, okay?" The wedding was a celebration of freedom, symbolizing the liberty Scarlett helped me discover. I was deeply thankful, expressing, "Scarlett, be happy. I'm incredibly grateful." As the celebration waned, Scarlett introduced me to Ethan, a tall, well-built man with a charming smile who ran an architectural firm. "I wanted you to meet Ethan, Amanda. Your personalities are nearly the same," Scarlett joked, causing us to chuckle. Ethan and I clicked instantly, deciding to have a meal together. Our conversation was warm and full of laughter, sparking a sense of hope within me, reminiscent of the Amanda my grandfather cherished. Moving forward, I aim to embrace both work and love, striving to live life fully. Grandpa, please keep watching over me. I'll flourish, I whispered to myself, a smile spreading across my face as I looked forward to future possibilities.